Okay, so moving on, we asked the question: who is the best captain for Game Week 17? So we put a poll out earlier on Fantasy Football Hub, and either Kane or Son, against Leeds, came out top with 42.8%. Salah came out at 22%, so there's a way to Southampton. Fernandez home to Villa, 20%, and Vardy away to Newcastle, 15 or 16%. Adam, what are your thoughts on Game Week 17 captaincy? A hard one this week, I think.
Yeah, it is. So if I'm thinking about how the games are going to go, I think Salah looked a little bit out of sorts. He was getting the chances, but he missed a couple of sitters tonight. So I wouldn't say sitters, but they were decent chances for Salah. So I'm probably not going to captain Salah. I think, like we talked about Southampton before, defensively they've been good, and I don't see them getting thrashed. I think they might lose, but they gave City a very good game recently. So I'm not going to captain Salah. So looking at the other options, Bruno is playing Villa on Friday night. And I think United, can they go top if they have to win? Was it 9-0? So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I think it's hard to back against Bruno. There isn't anything. I'm hoping for. I think from a personal perspective, I'm not going to captain Bruno because I want to be watching that game, not even 1% wanting Bruno to do anything. I just can't. I think there's enough other options. So I don't think it'll be a high scoring match, particularly after the game that we gave Chelsea and how we're set up. And I think United had to really persevere versus Wolves. So that leaves, and actually, I think United are more free flowing away from home where they
Yeah,
can counter
definitely.
back more. So that leaves me really with two options, which is Son and Kane in terms of my team. Um, I It's a tough one, but I think I'm leaning towards Kane, and partly because I know 100% he'll start. That is a big factor. Now, I think the fact that the Fulham game was postponed means it's more likely Son will start, but Kane is more likely to get 90 minutes. He's on penalties. Yeah, I'm probably leaning towards Kane at the moment. Uh, it's a tough one though because there isn't any of the options that I have that I'm thinking that they're definitely the captaincy for me. I think looking at that, if I'm looking at how the games will play out, you would imagine Spurs love to counter attack, and you saw what United did to them in a similar situation. They're not going to change their way, although they have improved in recent matches. So, I personally think I'll be targeting that game for captaincy. Uh, I can make an. I think there is an argument for Son in terms of getting in behind. I can see that. But I think the good thing with Son and Kane is they're usually both involved anyway. So whether it's Kane assisting Son or the other way round, yeah, I think it's a really really tight call. I mean, how do you see it from a Spurs perspective?
Well, I've only got Son. One of the reasons I've only got Son is just the way the Kane's positioning in recent games.
Mm,
It's just been so deep, and he's just looking for Son all the time. I think Leeds are quite calamitous at the back. How they didn't concede against Burnley, I will never know. And I
yeah,
don't know if you saw kind of Meslier's pass out to Ian
I did
Gallagher on the
actually. Yeah,
weekend. It's
yeah.
just they're calamitous at the back. As a wonderful team as they are, as great as they are to watch, they're always likely to concede. So if I had Kane, I haven't got Kane, but if I had Kane, I may be tempted. But I do think the Son is a better option. I just think the Son is going to cause them all sorts of problems with his pace, his finishing. I think this game is built. It's built for Son, and yeah. So in terms of being a Spurs fan, I think that with the game being off now, and Spurs won't have a game after this. They won't have a league game. So I think next they play Marine then in the FA Cup. They're not going to have a league game, for a couple of weeks. He'll get 90. He's not going to play in the FA Cup. Neither of them will, I don't think. I think you'll see Jose's Thursday night team, like Vinicius and Moore, etc., all play in the FA Cup. So I think Son will get 90, and I think he'll do well against Leeds. I'm not saying even Spurs will win, right? Because Leeds are playing very, very well, but I do think that he'll do well. Vardy, I haven't known Vardy all season. I didn't own him much last season either. I really, really struggle with Vardy because he just doesn't seem to get the chances. But when he does get any sort of chance, whether it be a penalty, whether it be whatever it is, he seems to put it away. Newcastle have shown this evening that they can defend. So I don't think that's maybe as attractive as fixtures. Maybe
I don't think I'd captain Vardy. I think it's a good one to own. I think the reason I had double Spurs in the wild card, it wasn't even really for the Fulham game. It was for this game, and I thought they're good price points to shift players to in the double game week. So I think I'll captain a Spurs player. I'm not, I think a few people put in the chat about Son being rested. I don't think he will be, particularly with the Fulham game being off. But
no chance.
But Kane is more likely to play 90 than Son. I think that's Kane never. Kane isn't going to get taken on. I think actually, but it could be a case like there've been in matches earlier in the season where they both do well. So
it could be like like a blow for blow game almost. Because both of them play this kind of fashion, don't they? And I think it could be like a bit of a blow for blow, just end to end to end. And if it's like that, I think you're going to want Son.
Well, I think they're great. They are great to watch, Leeds as well. So I think having 4 attackers in that game could be, that could be quite fun. I mean, that'll be. I'll have four attackers, and all I want is an absolute goal fest, and that's why I can't. And that's why I can't play Meslier because that would ruin my fun in terms of watching it. So I just have to hope West Brom don't collapse again.
Just a really good point actually in the chat. I clean forgot the Spurs have got Brentford in the EFL semi-final on the 5th of January. So that is a really good point there actually. Not that I think Jose would take off players early for an EFL semi-final against Brentford personally, but it is a really good point.
Well, I think, but they have. Actually. If you look at some of the players that got injured, Bale's out, isn't he? And they've got I think Moore's out. So there's a few of the key players out, and that again, I think Son is more likely to come off early. I think they'll both get 80 plus minutes anyway. Okay. So I still may change to Son, but I think it's got to be between those two because I don't think Villa or Southampton will completely neglect their defence and go gung ho, and so be interesting to see. But I think you've got. I can't see any other options past Spurs this week.
No, agree.
And I think the fact they've rested is a good thing as well.
Definitely. I'm just laughing at Zvonimir Boban in the chat. Do not this is all in capital letters. Do not captain a Spurs player. Please, they are totally washed. I'm not sure what that means, as in a bit of a washout maybe, but I like that. And I suppose I just add on Salah as well away to Southampton. Southampton, as you mentioned earlier, been defending really well, and there's better options this week. Just in terms of any other options, the only two I would say, and these are very kind of off the wall. I'm not going to say Gundogan.
I thought you were. I was bracing myself for that.
Arsenal play West Brom. Not that I'm saying kind of Aubameyang or anyone else, but it's a decent fixture. And I mentioned it earlier actually. If you do have Zaha, the Sheffield United game, home Sheffield United is probably a very, very good fixture. I think with the split,
Zaha's a good shout. Yeah.
I think with the likely split captaincy this week, I think if you did go for Zaha, I think you would have a hell of a differential and a potential to actually move up.
The only thing that would put me off Zaha, I think Zaha's a really good option. He's got a great record at home against non-top 6 teams this season. The only thing that puts me off Zaha is Palace and the just lack of attacks. Yeah, it's a similar thing with Wilson, and I think both Zaha and Callum Wilson are great options, but it's just the lack of attacks. And I think I can't see that Spurs Leeds game just going end to end. Leeds don't know any other way to play. And Mourinho loves a counter-attack. It's just like, it's and I think the fact that Spurs have rested, because I think Leeds might outrun them, but I think the fact that Spurs have had the extra rest sets it up nicely. And I just think when does that one kick off? It's a Saturday morning, isn't it? Off the top of my head,
I think it's 12:30 on Saturday. Yeah, it's the first game on Saturday.
Yeah, well, that's
lunchtime special. That one you're gonna enjoy that.
The wife's working on Saturday, so I've got the children, so I'm gonna have to entertain them in the morning and then set them up to. Well, they might watch. You never know. They might watch football with me, so can't wait. I honestly can't wait for that one. I think that's it'll be a disappointment now, won't it? 0-0. It's going to be
one of those.
Yeah, Mourinho will park the bus and ruin it.
We've had a few questions just around Tyreek Mitchell. Is he nailed again? No, I just think he just played to give Van Aanholt a rest. Do you agree with that, Adam?
Yeah, I think with the fixtures they've got coming up, I think he may play in some of the matches where they want to be a little bit more defensive.
Yeah.
But I think Van Aanholt offers a lot more going forward. So I just think Van Aanholt will still keep his play, particularly if you're looking at Sheffield United. Palace are probably going to want a little bit more. I think they rested other players like Eze. He'll be back in the team. So I don't think Mitchell will retain his place. Although I think by all accounts he had quite a good game.
Yeah, I think he was man of the match actually. And we've had a few people say surely Salah can't blank for 3 in a row. You know, I said a few weeks ago I'm not bringing in Salah. This is when Jota was fit. You know, I'm not bringing in Salah. I had Robertson. I had a couple of other really good players as well. I've worked out that actually if I'd have not got in Salah, I would actually be up on the deal. I'm really disappointed. It would have actually worked out over the period.
So the thing I've learned about not having Salah, it's fine to do it. You've got to stick to it. And the problem is it's so difficult to stick to because it's horrible watching games.
It was the Palace game. It was the Palace game. He came on and he did that in the Palace game. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to get him in. Since then, he's done nothing.
You said something to me, I think it was one of your big lessons, is that if you fear watching a player that much, just own them. Yeah. And one of the reasons I brought Robertson in on a wild card, there were a few players. I think Robertson is one of them that I just watch him and I just think every time he gets the ball,
he's scary.
I think Robertson, he's brilliant for BPS. I think Bruno's one of those players, and I think Salah is. I think outside of that, I can probably get away with. I don't think there's anybody that I'm going to feel that I have to. I think maybe Kane and Son the weekend would probably possibly fit into that category, but I think on the whole, they're the ones that you just. It's sort of like Aguero used to be versus like
it is scary.
It's just easy. It's just easier to own them.
I've noticed. So even though Salah has blanked now twice for captaincy, I've still had back-to-back green arrows, which I know that's the game, right? The game is to get higher rank you can, and it's obviously proven now that. You need to at least captain the player that the vast majority of people around you are captaining. Whether they score or not, then it's not the end of the world. But if you don't do it, if you haven't got them and they do bang, like he has done, I see massive red arrows. If I have him and he doesn't bang, I still see green arrows because the rest of my team is still good. So it's a bit frustrating, a bit boring, but it's just easier to do it. But you're right about Robertson. His crosses in early, his 2 corners that they were just headed wide and headed saved. That would have been a 12-pointer for Robertson,
Yeah, I'm glad I brought him in. I was considering doubling up with Trent as well, and I think Trent looks okay. But even tonight, Liverpool looked like they could concede, and I think having 2 people from one defence, which it's just hard work, particularly when they haven't got a fit centre back. I don't think I could do that. So,
okay. So just to wrap up on captaincy, so the predicted best game week 17 captains, according to the Fantasy Football Hub point prediction tool, Harry Kane comes out on top, Salah second, Aubameyang third. He's come out in a few of the.
Sorry, who was top?
Kane was top, so your man
Yeah.
was top. Salah was second away to Southampton. Aubameyang third away to West Brom. Bruno in fourth, and Son in fifth. So that's according to the Fantasy Football Hub prediction tool.
I trust the hub.
Trust the Hub. You're going with them.
Also, yeah, I will go. I think I'm going to go with Kane.